Hi everybody, I am Katano at Line Corporation. I believe you enjoy the 2 days long dev conference. I would like to say thank you for joining all these sessions. First of all, I would like to briefly introduce myself. In 2009, I joined Line, so I've been working here in 14 years. And in 2013, so 6 years ago from now, and I have been working on supervising the enterprise IT sections. Originally, I had been working for the service development. Therefore, in particular, from last year, I have been committed myself to working for the growth development. When it comes to the enterprise IT, that sounds like that's the back office, the IT, but also I'm supporting the front side systems. So I'm the only one Line's corporate officer who are working for the systems supporting both the front and the back end of the office side. This is today's agenda. First, I would like to give you an overview of internal systems at Line Corporation. Of course, due to time limitation, I will not be able to explain every single system, but I will give you the overview of them, followed by the slides. Of course, we are supporting all departments from the IT perspective, so I would like to give you the missions of our department and what kind of challenges we have from the IT perspective and how we are now solving or resolving these challenges. I'll give you the very specific examples. So first, overview of the internal services, in particular the size of our company. I believe you've already heard in the opening session today, Line Group has more than 8,100 employees. As you see on the graph, the number of employees has been increasing. As you see this, that number has been always increasing. When I calculate with some percentage, yes, every year, so the YoY 30% of increase. So looking at over the last 3 years, actually the number of employees doubled by any segmentations. If the number of employees and the company continues to grow at the same pace, but probably it will be very difficult to continue to provide the same quality IT solutions or system. It is something very common, but it will be greatly difficult to do that if the company grows at the same tempo. Next, probably you've heard this information at the various sessions. Now, we have the 10 development centers in particular in Asia. There are other centers or the offices not related to development, but we have the 10 development centers which have the large amount of number of the employees. From an enterprise IT perspective, yes, the time difference is only the 2 hours. Although we are, yes, a global as a company, but still we are focusing on Asia. Therefore, even we do some maintenance over the nights, there is no complaint from the other side of the Japan. But of course, with such a number of development centers and hubs, of course, we have the receiving lots of requests, or sometimes the service maintenance time frame would be not appropriate for some offices. Therefore, we always take into consideration the situation of overseas offices. Next, I would like to give you some major internal systems. For development purposes, yes, we have been using some systems to manage documentation, in particular Wiki on the top left. So Atrans is the Confluence as the system, and also Jira. This is also the Atrans the products for the ticket or bag management. And over several years, We have been very often working together with the outside or the outsourced partners. There are so many cases of that. Therefore, it's very important to share the documents at a real-time basis. This is very key for collaboration. For that purpose, we are using the Box, a cloud-based platform. So we just started using Box from last year. And the right top, the development platform, I believe you have been already familiarized all of them. To manage source codes, we are using GitHub Enterprise. So Enterprise is on-premise version of GitHub. For CI, we are using Jenkins, Circle CI for many cases, but recently some projects start using Drone. And probably you are not so familiarized with this one, OutSystems. This is a tool helps us to develop the apps much faster. We started using this last year, the GI-based, and if you put the component, then code will be automatically generated. So that can eliminate dev time. So actually, the 90%. So truly, is it possible to reduce 90% of the time? Yes, actually, we have that kind of experience. So for some projects that do not require very detailed design, then we could use the OutSystems for better efficiency. So for some projects, yes, OutSystem is a good very option. Because of the time constraint, I would like to go to the next slide. I would like to give you some numbers so that you could assume the size of our services. First, Wiki. We have more than 11,000 MAU. Actually, this number exceeds the total number of employees. Because as I've already mentioned, we have been very often working with the outsourced or the external stakeholder to share documents and for other work. Therefore, they are also using the Wiki. Therefore, this MAU of the Wiki exceeds the number of total employee of Lime. And in the center, it's the number of the pages, total number of the pages. It's exceed 1.2 million. I'm not sure whether you think it's too much or not so much, but still the 1.2 million is quite a lot of number, right? So we have the number of the pages have been already accumulated over 1 decade. Next, Jira. Originally, Jira was used for managing the bugs, but now over the last years, actually, the Jira is also used, such as Kanban or the task management, to visualize these tasks remain. Therefore, the Jira is very widely used not by the developers, but the other type of the profession. Therefore, MAU was more than 9,000. And here, the GitHub Enterprise. Yes, actually, this is a tool, dev-oriented tool. Please pay close attention to the number of the repository and so 45,000 more repository. It's unbelievable, isn't it? So we have more than 45 repositories. And on for your far right-hand side, the largest repository has the 15,000 pull requests. So 15,000. This is the size we are handling. Next topic is the mission of internal systems. I have a question to you. Are you happy with the current internal system at your own company? Please raise your hand if you are not happy with the current systems. Oh, thank you. Quite a lot. Yes. I would like to tell how I felt I had dissatisfaction. I originally in charge of enterprise systems in 2013, but before that, I of course had used the wiki. The response time was not so fast, and it takes time to the recovery. And we did not know that when the recovery will be completed. And also, to me, the system couldn't tell us why that outage occurred. So there was no outage report internally. So there was something that I would like to see that improve, and I continuously send the request to the improvement. But of course, it took time to such improvement. Therefore, I wanted to improve these system environments because I have something in my mind that could be the contributing to the improvement. Therefore, I confessed my feeling to the corporate officer. Then I moved to this department in 2013. So what is the mission of LINE's IT department? First of all, I believe you have heard this keyword so many times. Wow, this is the main value and the main mission for LINE Corporation. But it's simple. LINE means to amaze and to bring the employment experience that can amaze the people. So pursuing for a while, continuing to take challenges. So this is the value for LINE. Then we can translate that to our department's mission. So we would like to make the #1 workplace for people by offering the best solutions. That is our mission. Previously, I mentioned the internal system or internal service. To us, internal system means internal service, so service provided to internal stakeholders or employees. This is something very common you would take for granted. So if we just simply develop a system, it's meaningless. What is so important is to deliver the system to users, and once the users start using that system, then that system is meaningful. And most importantly, thing is that user continues to use that system. To do that, we have to continue to improve. If any feature is not enough, then we will continuously add new features, and we have to also check whether this new functionality will be satisfying the employees or not. We have to take this kind of the continuous approach for improvement. Then I will give you more specific challenges we are facing and countermeasures we have taken. Today, I would like to talk about these 3 challenges. Excuse me, I need water. So 3 challenges. First, system account integration, onboarding, and so this is related to when the new employee comes to the company, and user support. And thirdly, waterfall internal systems. First, system account integration. Probably this is not confined to LINE Corporation, but a common issue for any companies. So one single user would have multiple IDs and a password per system. So user has to switch the password and ID per system. This is a very common issue that we did have. The another issue related to this is that there are separate systems. They are independent. Therefore, each system has stored different user information. Please mention that if there is an organization changes, then the one employee belongs to the team A, but unfortunately, a different system recognizes that person in the different department. Because there is no single source of truth, therefore there would be the cause of the inconsistency in the user information per system. To address that, we took this kind of approach. First one is authentication. At LINE Corporation, we are using internal SSO, which is a foundation platform authentication. So this is used for authentication for all the internet services as well as the cloud services, leveraging YASAML and two-factor authentication that ensure the security of authentication using the internal SSQ. So this is an already integrated or centralized way for the authentication. When it comes to mechanism of authentication, probably Okta or OneLogin or other very commonly used services. Therefore, this system or mechanism itself is not so unfamiliar or rare. But what we are doing here is that we are using the API for the authentication. That API is public on the dev documentations. So once the developer develops a new tool, so then if they would like to use some authentication purposes, then developers can easily connect to this system by referencing the public documentation. Next, how to sync the user information or employee information. The master data or source of the user information or employee information is the HR system. Now, this is the source of truth. And right-hand side, IM, this is the identity management, another system. So via IM, if there was new data comes to the HR system, then via IM, that data will be sent to different systems through the overnight batch processes. For example, if there is an update on the user's profile, then such update will be first recorded on the HR system and spread to the other system for sync. So among the user profile, the display issues. There was one issue related to the display name. I would like to take a more detailed look at this. Here, display name is a name displayed by a system. Originally, actually, that was a story of 3 years ago. The system displays names, real name. So real name was displayed on the system. As I mentioned, at lines, people are working from the overall other outside offices. The real name could be the Chinese character or traditional letters or some language, local languages. And if that real name is displayed on their own language or own characters, someone could not read it. So, for example, to me, that I could not read some of the Chinese characters. Just cannot read. It's okay, but the problem is we can't search or discover the person. For example, if I would like to assign a bag ticket to a specific person, but I could not search that person, therefore I had to copy and paste the names written in the original language. That was an issue. Another issue related to display name is different naming conventions. For example, in Taiwan, they always use the English name, even for the business purpose. Or in Thailand, it is very common to have another nickname. It's a very interesting story. So they are using for the business and also in private life, they use the nickname. So even though their real name are displayed in the system, but even their colleagues could not identify who is who. For example, some developer use a handle name. Probably that their colleagues could not identify you if you use the handle name. But so this nickname is a kind of a common issue, and we receive lots of requests for overseas market. So how to address this issue? As I mentioned, the identity management, we leverage that capacity, and the username are generated using that system. So on the portal system, the user can register their own nickname as they want. And once the nickname is registered, then that's the first pattern. So nickname is displayed first and followed by the real name. And if you do not register nickname, then the second pattern, the English name comes first, followed by your real name. So by leveraging this kind of customization, as you see on the right-hand side, this is the actual screen. So every name starts with the English alphabetical order. Because each system has a different system for search or discovery. Sometimes the system enables you to find from the first letters, the matching from the first. That means if the first letters of your name is written in the kanji or Chinese character, then probably the other user could not find you. Therefore, first using the English alphabet and the first letter of your displayed name, so that it's much easier for everyone to search. So for the system account integration, we have three policies: one account, one password, and one profile. This is the principle for the system account integration. With having this kind of the policies, user could easily use or seamlessly use internal and external systems.
Now, I will talk about onboarding and user support. As mentioned earlier, at LINE, there are many employees and there are many new hires coming in. So as soon as possible, we would like them to reach their full potential at their work. And this is very important for us. For them to reach their full potential, there are two issues. One is information. When they want something, when they want to do something in their work, they don't know how to search the information regarding the work. Also, they couldn't find the people who they needed to contact, who to request for some tasks. That kind of searching was very difficult. When you have 8,000 people in the company, it's very difficult to find the right person to go. So I think this is very particular about LINE. In response to that, what kind of approach did we take? This is just my personal ideal state, but we wanted to provide necessary information only when needed. But of course, this is difficult, extremely difficult. However, I want to keep trying, but we cannot do that immediately. So I decided to start from what I can do. That is to lower the bar to ask questions. Lower the bar as low as a little puppy can jump. So this is LINE Care. This is internal service for the users or the employees, where anyone can ask any questions. On the left picture, you can see the counter. Within the cafe of a company. So maybe you wanted an adapter to borrow, and you can just stop by when you get a coffee at a cafe. So this kind of familiarity of this kind of service is very important. So we introduced this LINE Care counter. And also, we are introducing this official account of the LINE app. And you can ask questions through the LINE Talk. About the LINE app official account, first, bot can answer some registered questions. If you can just solve the questions or solve the issues through bot, you don't have any issues. But if there's any questions that bot cannot answer, then the operator comes in to the LINE app. And you can start a conversation with the operator to solve whatever issue you have. And these, all of the cases are registered in the Salesforce. And this is, of course, to lower the bar. So this is why we are also make it available in Japanese, Korean, and English. So operators available in all of these three languages. And this is from the LINE Customer Connect, which is for the external services. And this has the same architecture with that service. And this is an example of the questions from the Salesforce. On the left, you can see that And this is related to IT. For example, you want to borrow a MacBook, or maybe you forgot to bring your own laptop to work. And on the right side, it's more about the expenses, related procedures. Also at LINE, we have many employees who are not from Japan, so they might not be familiar with some procedures. So we cannot just provide documents to them, but we can actually take care of them by answering any questions they have in English or any other languages, Korean or Japanese. Next. About the other issue to find the right people. At LINE, the work is basically project basis. So if we combine project information and employee information, you can easily find the people you are looking for, and you can visualize all of the relationship between these two. And this shows the Opera screen about the project. So what kind of information can you find here? On the top, you can see the project manager of the project, and also who is in charge of this project among the executive officers. And there are many tags related to this project. And if you click the tag, you can also see the related projects. For example, if you want to initiate some campaign with LINE Manga, you can go to the LINE Manga related projects and find the stakeholders of that project so that you can contact them. And if you click the person in charge, then you can skip to the page of the employee, and this is the profile picture or a profile page of myself. And you can see what kind of projects I'm related to or I'm involved in. And there are many icons on the left. From here, you can contact me through Slack or LINE and communicate with me. Lastly, about the Opera. This is still in the experimental phase, but here's the relation map to show or to visualize the relationship between employees. I couldn't show the names of the employees, so it might be hard to see, but we are experimentally implementing this relation map to visualize the commonality between employees. And this is very interesting. Next, I'll talk about WOW-IS project. We actually call it WOW-IS. And this is to create a WOWful internal system and initiate exciting development projects. We haven't decided any details yet, but aside from your primary job, if you have any interesting ideas and want to implement that idea, you can start trying in this project. And there are two ideas that actually were implemented, and one of them is time attendance assistant. And probably you go to work every morning and leave the office every evening, but sometimes you forget to clock in or clock out. And if you forget and you have to correct the clock-in time, and at the end of the month, you have to correct a lot of information about your attendance. So to solve the issue, we started to think about using Line Beacon. Last year at the short track, we also talked about it, but in this venue, actually, there are Line Beacon located everywhere in this event venue. And in our office at Line, we located Line Beacon everywhere so that we know how long and from what time to until what time each employee is in the office, and reflect that information to the attendance system by using the API with the batch process. This is very simple to use this system. First, you follow the official account of the Line attendance assistant. Then you link your own work account with your own Line account. So the official account and your work information will be linked. Then you just go to work. Then as you can see on the right side, from the official account, you will receive the message, what time you clock in and clocked out. This is very convenient. At first, engineers wanted to do something interesting, or they actually had complaints that the time attendance system was very cumbersome. But eventually, actually, we implemented this system to all across the company. And this has been very useful for them. Another idea was floor map to show the seating spot of each employee. And this is also on the HR blog. At Line, I believe that many of the companies do the same, but we used to manage the floor map on Excel sheet and attach the file on the wiki page. And if you can click it, then you can download the file and check the floor map. But that was very cumbersome. And also, it wasn't always the latest information. So if you just download the file and check the seat, and even if you go to the seating spot, you cannot find the right person that you are looking for. And this is really a waste of the cost because there are many employees at Line. And I myself had a complaint. And this is very inefficient when you have this many employees at a company. So we make it a web, and we realize that we can actually add more features. For example, labeling feature. You can put a label anywhere. For example, there's a printer on the floor map as well. So on that printer spot, you can put the label with the link of a wiki page that explains how to set up a printer. So you can just click the label to jump to the wiki page to see how to set up a printer. So this is another convenient feature of the floor map. And this is another experimental activity at Line about the environmental sensor. This is a USB type sensor. Sorry, screenshot is in Japanese, but this is a noise, volume, and also temperature, and some index about uncomfortability and also CO2 concentration, etc. You can get all of this data from this environmental sensor. And for example, this is the actual data of the volume at 920-ish. You can see there's a noise. So in the meeting room, people came into the meeting room and they started having a conversation in a meeting. This sensor detects that this meeting room is actually in use. So with this sensor, we can see that even if the room is reserved, sometimes it's not used. And if it's not used, even if it's reserved, we can just cancel the reservation for efficiency. Another point, again, about the environmental sensor, we have the data in the Elasticsearch. And you can see the air pressure is dropping significantly here. And this is from last month when we had a typhoon. So the air pressure is dropping significantly because around 9 p.m., the typhoon was approaching Tokyo. So the air pressure also dropped in the office as well. And after that, the air pressure came back to the normal level. I don't know how to actually utilize this data, but maybe not air pressure, but maybe for temperature and other types of index, if we can just combine these kinds of data, we can see the frequency of the actually you can see what kind of which meeting rooms are empty or what time the cafe is busy, etc. So we are trying to do something new with this sensor as well. Thank you for your patience. I have 3 more minutes. So during the opening session, it was talked about, but at Line, we are investing a lot of resources so that we can provide the best workplace for Liners, the employees. And this is Line style, which was talked about during the opening session as well. This is a set of 11 key phrases defining what is Line-like way of thinking. And the first one is user's rule, and the last one is enjoy the challenges. And I personally like these two. And as I mentioned, I wasn't happy about the internal systems. But rather than just speaking up, I thought about how we can lead that to improve the environment for users. So I enjoy the challenges instead of just complaining. Also, yesterday, during the party, I had an opportunity to talk with many people, and they were interested in Line style, and also they were impressed that we have been doing many activities. And this is impressive, but at the same time, the scale is really huge, and it's kind of hard for them to imitate or follow the suit. So yes, it might be hard and it sounds hard. However, what we are doing is not something special. If you look closely, from a small complaint, we started out an activity to make it better. So this is an accumulation of small activities, and we bring it up to the planning side. So this is very small thing that we are doing, even if it looks very big. So about the internal systems, if you have complaints about the environment, I believe you can change it, because the environment is not something that you get from the company or the company gives you, but you will create the environment. And I myself believe that the company that you can change the environment is a great company. And I believe that the Line is that kind of company. And also, this is not as hard as you think. If you have a small complaint, you just don't leave it as is. Without ignoring it, you pick it up and try to make a change and take action. And I believe you can make a change like I did. And I think you can do it at your own workplace as well. So I encourage you to do the same. So that concludes my session for 2 days. Thank you so much for attending this Developer Day.